Good afternoon. Today, my co-author Angela Story and I are going to share with you some of the Center for Archaeology and Cultural Heritage engagement initiatives with a focus on engaging with local schools through anthropology. So, the Department of Anthropology's Center for Archaeology and Cultural Heritage was established in 2019. It's located in the Portland neighborhood of West Louisville. And at CASH, we have curation labs where we preserve state and federal archaeological collections from Kentucky and the surrounding region. We accept newly excavated collections, and our students gain museum curation experience by revitalizing legacy collections and bringing them up to current standards. A few of our partners in this work are Fort Knox, Historic Locust Grove, Daniel Boone National Forest, and we have collections from the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. We also have 5 dedicated teaching and research labs for faculty, master's students, undergrads, and we have space to host university and community events. And one of our key engagement goals is to capitalize on our physical location in the Portland neighborhood to develop and strengthen local partnerships with an emphasis on collaborating with schools. So in my time, I'm going to focus on a new partnership that we're developing with Central High School, and then I'll briefly at the end mention 2 other projects. So the partnership with Central High School was initiated by CHS Principal Raymond Green and his colleagues. They learned of UofL opening CASH and the Height Art Institute in Portland, and they reached out to the ANS Dean to discuss the potential for collaboration. We've had several meetings now over the course of a couple years, and here is the current plan. The goal is to bring CHS students to CASH and Height for on-site experiential learning, and this project would fall under the Engaged Scholarship category of publicly engaged instruction as outlined by Doverneck and colleagues. I'll frame the project following recommendations of Driscoll and Sandman and the National Review Board evaluation criteria. So the purpose is to offer CHS students project-based experiential learning at CASH. Research has shown that experiential learning increases interest in STEAM and helps maximize learning and knowledge retention. And project-based learning is a student-centered approach in which students collaborate to work through a realistic project. In the process, they actively define the problem, identify methods to test hypotheses, and evaluate results. The advantage of project-based learning is that students connect with and immediately see the value of solving real-world problems, leading to higher levels of engagement. We're still working out the details, and things were slightly derailed by COVID, but the plan is, as of the last meeting, to initially offer this opportunity to high-achieving CHS juniors and seniors with the goal of expanding in the future. CHS students will spend 3 days on site at CASH, possibly both during the fall and the spring semesters. Each of these days will be dedicated to one of the 3 subfields of anthropology that we have at UofL. Students will learn about cultural anthropology and practice ethnography. They'll learn about biological anthropology and practice skeletal analysis. And they'll learn about archaeology and practice artifact analysis and curation. For each of these days, projects will be designed to mimic real-world anthropological problems, and further, the material covered will align with CHS learning standards. We plan to evaluate the success of the program, of course, following best practices in engaged scholarship. So CHS students will be given pre and post tests to measure immediate learning surrounding those 3 days, and then we'll evaluate the longer term success of the program through future surveys to track how many students attend college and whether or not they choose STEAM majors, including anthropology. Finally, as Dostio and colleagues discussed the importance of clearly defining reciprocity and community engaged scholarship, so I'll highlight 3 of the important reciprocal goals from this project. First, we're all working to offer CHS students those project-based experiential learning opportunities that I discussed, during which they'll interact with UofL faculty and students, so that while they're learning, they're also getting sort of an inside view of what it's like to attend the university. UofL graduate and undergraduate students who participate in the program will benefit from student learning by teaching as they apply the concepts they've learned in classes here at UofL to teach CHS students. Research has shown this to be a highly effective learning mechanism. Finally, it's our hope to co-create the evaluation of program success through peer-reviewed research publications, and we plan to work alongside CHS faculty and administrators throughout this entire process. Another project, another partnership that we're in the early stages of developing is with the Kentucky School for the Blind. This was initiated by Nicole Roth, and our goal is to hold a UofL undergraduate archaeology field school on KSB property. We'd like to conduct archaeological survey and excavations, and we'd be looking for evidence of the earliest historic grounds dating to the late 1800s. This project will provide visually impaired KSB students an opportunity to experience archaeology in a safe environment on their own school campus, and it will again give UofL students another opportunity to learn by teaching while they're also gaining skills as archaeologists. Finally, I'd like to mention a broader scale community engaged scholarship project that I'm working on with UofL alum Cody Goodwin, who's now an archaeologist at Corn Island Archaeology here in Louisville. Eastern Greenwood and Chardine cemeteries are 3 historic cemeteries that were grossly mismanaged by the company performing burial services for decades. They regularly overburied all 3 cemeteries, reselling burial plots over and over, disturbing and digging up previously buried individuals in the process. Eventually, this practice was discovered, and the Jefferson County Court became the managing entity of all 3 cemeteries. And UofL's CACHE, in partnership with the court, now curates all the historic cemetery records and burial maps. Each and every year, we field approximately 300 records search requests from descendants seeking information about the status of their loved ones. Are they buried in the cemeteries? Is their grave disturbed? All of those kinds of things. So now, through analysis of the survey, record search data, and surveys of the public, we're assessing project success and evaluating public needs. Specifically, we're considering initiating a digitization project to make all the records publicly available so that people can conduct their own searches without having to go through us. And so we'd like to gather public feedback on this initiative. Cody and I have submitted an abstract to the Engaged Scholarship Consortium Conference coming up next fall. Hopefully it's accepted, and stay tuned for that. And thank you very much.